So over the past couple days or weeks or months, people have been obsessed with the topic of who's up next. Who's up next in hip hop, who's up next in basketball, who's up next in football. Literally anything, people are always obsessed about who's up next.
Get a job!
It's something that we've done forever. We tried to look at the young people in a certain industry and try to find who we think has the means, the talent, and their overall attitude to get things done. The people that will break out and become new stars of this industry or culture or league. But I think this way of thinking is starting to change in one area. Hip hop has always been a young man's sport. You can see that from people like Jay-Z and 50 Cent always saying that rap or hip hop will always be dominated by people in their 20s, early 30s, possibly mid 30s. We've had artists like Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick who are an extended period of greatness. Drake is still going #1, still going on arena tours. Same thing with Kendrick and Cole. And you still have people like Future, like Nicki. All these people are still very much in their prime. And when people want to claim who's next up, well, the people who are next up are already in their primes, like 21 Savage, Lil Uzi, Playboi Carti. They're already in their primes of music making. They're going #1. They're going on arena tours. So when we look at today's up-and-coming artists, a lot of people claim things that I, at first, was a little taken aback by. They were claiming people like JID, teezotouchdown, people like that are next up. And I look at JID specifically. I listen to a lot more JID music than I do teezotouchdown. I looked at him as like already in his prime. He's kind of old to be up next. He's 33. So I never really looked at him as up next. I just liked his music a lot. He had maybe the best album of 2023 to me. I listened to the Forever Story on repeat a lot. And teezotouchdown is a person in the grand scheme of things is up and coming. He's somebody that's been on a lot of features as of late, very popular features to say the least, and he just released his first album last year. So it looks like he was on the come up, but you look at his agents, like, I don't know how long he can keep up with just making great music for an audience that won't connect with him as much, because hip hop and rap is ran by younger people. And I know in the grand scheme of things, teezotouchdown is not a rapper. He's barely part of the hip hop community, but he has so many features with hip hop artists. And you know, just saying it out loud, he is black. They're just gonna put him in that category no matter what you think. Even though he is more than that, I will admit he has a very big range of where his music goes. And I said all this just to say that maybe they are next up, because I've just been looking at it wrong. I've been looking at it like as if it was a sport like basketball, where you have your young days, you're 18 to 24, you're just learning the game and you're rising very fastly. Then you have your prime where you're 25 to maybe 30, and then you start to fall off just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. Then you end up retiring like some rappers do, like Jay-Z, like 50 Cent, like Eminem to a certain point, because he's just not doing the numbers that he did in 2000. He accepted that and he's just doing it for the fun of the game now. He's not really competing to be the best because he was already the best at one point. And that specifically made me think that Eminem has all these older fans. He's not gaining many new fans, but he has all these older fans. So that means that there are a lot of older people willing to still listen to rap music like Eminem. So why wouldn't they want to listen to more mature artists, more artists that have come into their own when it comes to their music, like JID, like teezotouchdown, like Benny the Butcher, people who are older in the industry but are still young in terms of music. I feel like we have to start changing the way we look at music and age in music, specifically hip hop, because when I first saw the headlines of like teezotouchdown's next up, it didn't make any sense to me because he's just older. And two and two just didn't connect. But after taking a couple days to think about it, I started to realize that that way of thinking was just an old type of way of thinking.
You know what? I think I'm a basic bitch.
Because in the 90s, they didn't grow up with hip hop per se. They were exposed to a lot more music like R&B, jazz, blues in their younger days. So growing up, they started to navigate more towards that type of music when they were in their 40s, their 50s. But I think in today's time, people are going to listen to what they grew up on, which was rap. You're going to have people in their 40s and their 50s and probably even 60s still listening to rap. It might not be the youngest of rappers, but it would still be maybe a rapper in their 30s, their 40s. It just makes sense that the generations that grow up with this music will still listen to this music when they're older. It's not just a trend like it was in the 90s. The trend turned into something that became generational. One thing that I also realized is that next up doesn't mean you have to be the next Drake, the next Kendrick, the next J. Cole. You don't have to be any of that. You don't have to be an all-time artist, top 10 guaranteed. Next up just means that you might have a great career coming up. You might just be going on big old tours. It could be arena tours, it could be venue tours. As long as it's steady and you have a steady fan base, you've overachieved in that next up status. I've opened my mind to JID, Teezo Touchdown, Benny the Butcher being that type of rapper. But I still think when it comes to superstardom, those spots are reserved for people that started young, like a Joey Badass or Denzel Curry or a Mine, if people ever start listening to his music again, because please listen to his music. He's amazing. But yeah, I thought to just make this video because I thought it was an interesting subject and it took me a while to think about. Doesn't matter what age you are when you're deemed next up. Doesn't matter what age you are when you blow up. Just tell me in the comments down below. I'm actually really interested to see what you think. And yeah, leave a like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch. I just started streaming about a week ago, so come through.